The Dream Abode Show. It's a radio show that comes your way this time every Friday. It's a lifestyle platform that focuses on real estate and interior design, and it is set to inspire you on how you can conceptualize and own your dream home, regardless of how old you are. Architect Tosin Oshinowo is here with me in the building, and she's from CN Design Atelier. Right now, we're talking on how to visualize your dream home. How do you get to do that? How do you visualize a realistic dream home?
Well, if you don't dream, you don't ever get your feet off the ground. You know, if you aim for the sky, you might reach
Well,
the
they
top
say
of the
dreamers,
tree.
they should come down to earth and stop dreaming.
No, you must dream. You must have big aspirations. It's really the start. I mean, the reality is it does come at a cost, but long term it should pay off. The fact that you know you own your own home and you are able to plan for other things that come about in any family life, school fees. If you have your home in place, you have more flexibility.
How easy is it to build a house? I mean, because again, it takes me back to then. You're dreaming, I want this house like this, the rooms, and you're like, boom, the cost, and you're like, oh.
It's important to dream, but dream within reality. Your average person should be looking at a home that is probably 2 to 3 bedrooms realistically, depending on their family size. I do think that we have, or in past times when we were not as urban as a city, when we were more suburb, it was more comfortable to say you want 4 or 5. But realistically now, if you live in the center of Lagos or in the city of Lagos, you should be looking for smaller spaces that are easier to manage.
Small spaces that are easier to manage out of. And possibly, even if you're not renting, if you're building, it's okay to get some nice, huge chunk of land and, start building bit by bit. Some actually start by building the BQ, boys' quarters.
Yes, that happens quite a lot. I think, realistically, if your intent is to build a family home, you should be looking at a single plot, which varies slightly in different areas of the city, but it comes to roughly about 15 by 30, 15 meters by 30 meters. That will give you comfortably a 4-bedroom house. Okay. And you could possibly also, in that situation, maybe do 2 flats. A lot of people are forward thinking because then they also look at the opportunity of revenue generation. So they maybe if you took 2 units, you could do a semi-detached on either side and rent out the other wing, or have 2 flats and a house on one side. That also works for people who know they're going to be there long term. So in pension age, you also have some income that's coming from the property next door to you.
Talking about this, I like what the Lagos State government is doing, especially the news we got in today on the rent-to-own scheme, housing scheme that, 200 keys were given out to occupants, new occupants and all of that. Just putting the roof over your head takes away a whole lot of stress and aches and pains and worries and all of that. Now, as a first-time homeowner, what should be considered before deciding on the size of a land to build?
What should be considered size of land to build? I think to be realistic about what your requirements are.
I hear you talk about that being realistic a whole lot of times. That tells us that a whole lot of people are unrealistic or too ambitious or over-dreaming, right?
Well, it depends. Are you a family, a nuclear family? Father, mother, 2 children, 3 children? Or are you in a polygamous marriage with 2 wives? These are things that need to be considered. If it's a home, you want it to be comfortable for all the occupants in the home. Do you run a home where you are particular about having staff? Have you provided appropriate accommodation for them as well? I mean, at the end of the day, as human beings, everyone should be able to live comfortably within the space, or at least be able to sleep comfortably and to have appropriate, sanitation in the home.
I gather, putting a structure together is all right. Block and mortar or bricks and mortar or all of that is not as expensive as finishing.
Oh yes, finishing. Your finishing more likely than not will be about 30-40% of your overall budget.
There we go.
And then again, it's then a question of how you intend to finish. So the more palatial it is, the bigger the cost. Lights are a funny thing because lighting is, the range of lighting is so immense. You can get a light for 100 naira and it's doing the same thing as something that is 3,000. So it's then a choice of the homeowner, and that's where you also have to be realistic about do you want to go all out and you end up not being able to move into your property in time? Or, are you realistic? And then with time, especially if you're going to live in the house for a long time, you can then change things as you go along.
At minimum, what number of rooms can effectively serve a family and probably just welcome a guest or two?
Like I said, it depends on the number, but I think a good general overview is a 3-bedroom house with 1 guest room. So that's a 4-bedroom house. That's pretty standard in our environment.
What would your advice would be the average size or the acceptable size of the room size? Some Sherlock landlords now, they give you a matchbox and ask you to shell out a whole lot of money for the matchbox. What's the average room size?
Well, on average,
ideal room size.
On average, bedrooms tend to be between 20 to 25 square meters. Living rooms tend to be about 45 square meters. By planning laws, you shouldn't actually have any room less than 9 square meters.
All right. So, what's the minimum feet of fence? People fence homes right now, and it's like they're in prison at home. I mean, what's your take on that?
We can't really get away from
security,
the fact that we live in an architecture of fear. People have fences that are 2.2 to 2.6 meters high. It's a shame that when someone actually has built such a beautiful home that nobody can see it. It's behind, and then they've got burglary proof everywhere. But it's the reality of our environment. Most people don't feel comfortable sleeping in a home that they don't feel is secure. It really can't be helped. Ideally, for a lot of the newer estates that are being built where they have security on the periphery walls, people can afford to have lower fences of 1.2 meters high, but
which is what it should be.
What it should be ideally. But I'm an advocate for people feeling comfortable, and the reality is until we live in an environment where people are actually comfortable economically, there isn't such a big diversity, you won't ever get that coming down.
What else would you want to share with us as we wrap up? What else can you tell us?
I think as the show is also about interior design, I think something that's quite nice is the reality, even if you don't own your own home and you're in the process of being ambitious and dreaming, you can also work on your existing spaces and start to look at ways of exploring what you would like to achieve when you do eventually have a permanent site. So with little things as, just changing the color of your paint or your curtains, you can actually lift the space, and it gives you that motivation and ambition to, when I have this space, this is what I'm going to do.
It's a tough one, but it's possible. Between visualizing and bringing it to be is what we call process. So you go through a whole lot of processes, discouraging and challenging and all of that, but just keep that vision in your head. And before you know it, you pick up your land, you build your house, and you put that roof over your head, and you'll be a happy person. What do you think?
I agree.
Really?
You have to dream.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for
Good to have you here. We should have you here again. Yeah? All right. So, what can I say? Thank you for listening. My name is Onimisi Adaba. Dream Abode is over right now.
The person now, Yahoo. Namroba.
You can use us as an example.
At what age do you graduate from university?
The only problem is that the youth these days, they're not patient. They just want to